You may not even believe it, but he saved more than 1 million souls from purgatory. A man who came to the New World to evangelize. Today's trivia is about Saint Juan Macías. Here are 12 curiosities about him. 12. Saint Juan Macías, the Thief of Purgatory. Saint Juan Macías is a revered figure in the Catholic tradition as a saint known for his dedication to the poor and marginalized. He is portrayed as someone who dedicated his life to helping those who were less fortunate in his society, including Indians and blacks, who were often marginalized and neglected. His devotion to the less fortunate earned him great respect and admiration among those who knew him. If you're not subscribed to our channel yet, subscribe so you don't miss any trivia about the saints. 11. Origin and historical context. The time in which Saint Juan lived was marked by significant historical events that significantly shaped the social and political environment. He was born in Extremadura, a region located in southwestern Spain, on March 2, 1585, during the reign of Philip II, who was one of the most powerful monarchs of the time. The papacy of Sixtus V also occurred during this period. The historical context includes explorations and colonizations in the New World, which were in full swing during the 16th century. Spain, led by monarchs like Philip II, played a prominent role in this process, establishing vast colonial empires in Latin America and the Philippines. These explorations brought wealth and power to Spain but also resulted in violent conflicts with native populations and contributed to the spread of the Catholic faith through the mission of converting indigenous peoples to Christianity. Additionally, the period in which Saint Juan lived was marked by religious wars in Europe, especially between Catholics and Protestants. Religious disputes were a prominent feature of the time, with conflicts such as the 30 Years' War, which involved various European powers and resulted in widespread devastation and loss of life. In this turbulent historical context, Saint Juan emerged as a figure who dedicated his life to charity and serving the needy, standing out as an example of piety and devotion amidst the social and political challenges of his time. His life and work echo not only Christian values but also reflect the dilemmas and hopes of an era marked by dramatic changes and deep conflicts. 10. Childhood and youth. Saint Juan's childhood and youth are characterized by accounts suggesting his inclination towards holiness from a young age. Raised in a deeply pious family environment, he received a solid religious education from his parents, which undoubtedly influenced his own devotion and spirituality. From a young age, Saint Juan stood out for his religious devotion and compassion for the less fortunate. These distinctive characteristics were evident in his actions and attitudes from an early age, revealing a generous and compassionate heart. His parents, by educating him with these values, certainly contributed to the development of his personality and character. During his youth, Saint Juan is credited with several mystical and miraculous experiences that helped solidify his reputation as a special figure. One of these events is the rescue of a pig that had fallen into a well. This episode not only demonstrated his compassion for animals and his willingness to help the needy but was also interpreted by many as a sign of his closeness to the divine and his ability to perform miracles. These experiences, along with his religious education and compassionate character, laid the groundwork for the life of holiness that Saint Juan would lead. His childhood and youth provided the foundation for his future achievements and for the impact he would have both in his local community and the wider world. Leave your prayer request here so that Saint Juan Macías may intercede for you before God. 9. Journey to America. Saint Juan Macías's journey to America was marked by challenges and difficulties but also by a profound sense of purpose and dedication to his spiritual mission. After embarking on a journey to the New World, he faced the adversities of the sea and the uncertainties inherent in such a long and risky journey. However, his determination and unwavering faith led him to cross the ocean until he reached Lima, Peru. Arriving in Lima marked the beginning of a new chapter in Saint Juan's life. There, he continued his work of helping the poor and marginalized, applying the same principles of compassion and service that characterized him in his homeland. His presence in Lima was greeted with gratitude and admiration by those who benefited from his generosity and support. At the same time, Saint Juan maintained a life of deep devotion to prayer and humility as a religious figure. His faith was the driving force behind his actions, and his exemplary life inspired many to follow his example and turn to a life of service to others and spiritual pursuit. Saint Juan's dedication to prayer and his humility as a religious figure are highlighted aspects of his persona. He not only provided material assistance to the needy but also sought to strengthen his relationship with the divine through prayer and contemplation. This integration between spiritual life and practical service was fundamental to his mission and the lasting impact he had on the community in which he lived. Thus, Saint Juan's journey to America not only witnessed his personal struggles and triumphs but also marked the beginning of a spiritual journey that would leave a legacy of love, compassion, and service to the most needy. Watch the video to the end so as not to miss any curiosity about Saint Juan. 8. Context of Lima. Lima, during the period when Saint Juan arrived in the city, was a vibrant and multicultural center, reflecting the richness of the ethnic, cultural, and economic diversity that characterized the Viceroyalty of Peru at that time. As the capital of the Viceroyalty, Lima was a meeting point for people of different backgrounds and cultures. The Spanish presence was dominant, reflecting Spain's colonial role in the region. However, the city also housed a diverse population of Criollos, descendants of Europeans born in America, as well as indigenous peoples, Africans, and people of mixed ancestry. This ethnic and cultural diversity manifested itself in various aspects of life in Lima. The city's neighborhoods harbored distinct communities, each with its own traditions, customs, and languages. Additionally, the presence of different ethnic groups contributed to a cosmopolitan atmosphere and a wealth of cultural exchanges. Lima's economic life was also dynamic and multifaceted. As an important commercial and administrative center, the city attracted traders from all parts of the Viceroyalty and beyond. Local markets teemed with a variety of products, from fresh foods to luxury goods imported from Europe, reflecting the global interconnectedness of the time. In the religious context, Lima was a center of Catholic fervor, with a number of churches and convents playing important roles in the city's spiritual life. The presence of religious orders, such as the Franciscans and Dominicans, contributed to Lima's diverse religious landscape. 7. The nickname, the Thief of Purgatory. The nickname, the Thief of Purgatory, attributed to Saint Juan Macías arises from a widespread belief among the faithful that he interceded on behalf of souls in purgatory. According to this belief, towards the end of his life, Saint Juan received divine revelations informing him about the soul's suffering in purgatory, awaiting purification before entering heaven. These revelations allegedly inspired Saint Juan to dedicate his efforts to the liberation of these souls, using his intercession and prayers to help them attain eternal peace. According to reports and testimonies, the number of souls he allegedly liberated from purgatory is astonishing, with some sources suggesting he liberated more than 1 million of them. The idea behind this nickname is that, just as a thief can steal something belonging to another, Saint Juan stole the souls from purgatory, taking them out of suffering and allowing them to find redemption and peace in heaven. This title does not suggest an act of theft in the negative sense, but rather an act of mercy and compassion, in which Saint Juan was seen as a mediator between needy souls and divine grace. This nickname not only highlights Saint Juan's reputation as a saint endowed with miraculous powers but also emphasizes his deep devotion to faith and his compassion for the suffering, both the living and the dead. It is a testimony to the impact he had on spiritual life and popular devotion, which persists to this day. 6. His connection to Saint John the Evangelist. The connection between Saint Juan and Saint John the Evangelist is a significant part of the narrative of the saint's life and is rooted in accounts of mystical experiences he is said to have experienced since childhood. According to these accounts, from his childhood, Saint Juan was accompanied by the spiritual presence of the apostle Saint John the Evangelist. Saint John is traditionally considered the beloved disciple of Jesus Christ and is known for his profound spirituality and understanding of the mysteries of the Christian faith. For Saint Juan, Saint John was not only a revered figure from Christian history but also a spiritual guide and intimate friend. He reportedly described Saint John appearing to him in visions and mystical experiences, offering him spiritual guidance and teachings about Christian life. This personal connection with Saint John the Evangelist deeply shaped Saint Juan's life and spirituality. He found comfort and inspiration in the presence and teachings of the apostle, and his devotion to Saint John was evident in his spiritual practices and daily life. This connection is also seen as a sign of Saint Juan's closeness to the divine and as confirmation of his sanctity and spiritual calling. Saint John the Evangelist's continued presence in his life is seen as a blessing and confirmation of his mission to serve God and others. 5. His humility and simplicity. Humility and simplicity are fundamental characteristics that define Saint Juan's life and character. Despite the supernatural gifts attributed to him and his supposed closeness to God, he chose to live a life of modesty and service to others. Saint Juan is often portrayed as someone who did not seek prestige or personal recognition. He did not flaunt his spirituality ostentatiously but rather manifested it through simple and everyday actions, serving others discreetly and unpretentiously. One of the ways Saint Juan expressed his humility was through his involvement in common and routine tasks. He was known for performing simple tasks such as tending to cattle, cleaning, and preparing food for the poor. These activities were a natural part of his life and demonstrated his commitment to serving others in a practical and tangible way. By choosing to live a simple and humble life, Saint Juan offered a powerful example of how true spiritual greatness is not necessarily associated with status, power, or material wealth. Instead, he emphasized the importance of humility, compassion, and selfless service as the true signs of a well-lived life. This humility and simplicity were essential characteristics that endorsed Saint Juan's reputation as a genuine saint and inspired many to follow his life example. His life of simple and unpretentious service continues to resonate as a powerful reminder of the value of altruism and kindness in a world often dominated by the pursuit of power and self-aggrandizement. 4. His devotion and charity. Saint Juan's devotion and charity are central aspects of his life and legacy. He was known for his deep devotion to the poor, sick, and needy, and his practice of charity was a tangible expression of this devotion. Saint Juan devoted much of his time and resources to meeting the needs of the less fortunate in his community. He had a generous and compassionate heart, and his empathy for those who suffer compelled him to act on their behalf in a practical and meaningful way. One of the ways Saint Juan exercised his charity was through feeding the poor. It is said that he fed more than 400 needy people daily, offering them not only food but also spiritual solace. He recognized that people's needs went beyond physical hunger and sought to nourish not only their bodies but also their souls. His presence was comforting, and his willingness to listen and offer words of encouragement and hope was valued by those who sought his assistance. Saint Juan's devotion and charity are powerful examples of the Christian commitment to love one's neighbor and selfless service. He understood that following Christ's teachings meant not only professing faith but also practicing compassion and care for the needy. The legacy of Saint Juan Macías as a saint of charity and devotion continues to inspire and challenge people to live lives of love and service to others, especially the most vulnerable and marginalized in our society. His exemplary life reminds us of the importance of reaching out to those in need and sharing the resources we have for the benefit of the less fortunate. 3. His life in the convent. After entering the convent, Saint Juan continued his life dedicated to service and devotion, now in a monastic context. His choice of monastic life reflects his commitment to a life of renunciation and spiritual seeking, as well as his aspiration for a closer relationship with God. As the gatekeeper of the convent, Saint Juan played a crucial role in the community's life. The gatekeeper's work was not only a practical function of opening and closing doors but also an opportunity to serve and welcome those seeking the convent, whether they were visitors, pilgrims, or members of the local community. Saint Juan performed his duties as gatekeeper with great dedication and devotion. He understood the importance of his role in the convent's life and strove to fulfill his responsibilities to the best of his ability. His willingness to serve and his kindness in welcoming others were evident to all who encountered him. In addition to his responsibilities as gatekeeper, Saint Juan maintained a rigorous routine that included numerous activities of service and prayer. He understood that monastic life required discipline and commitment, and he embraced this discipline with enthusiasm and determination. Life in the convent provided Saint Juan with a conducive environment to deepen his spiritual life and his connection with God. He took advantage of the opportunities offered by community life to devote himself to prayer and contemplation, seeking to grow in his faith and devotion. 2. His supernatural experiences. Supernatural experiences in Saint Juan's life are an important part of his narrative and contribute to his reputation as a saint endowed with miraculous powers and a special connection with the divine. During his novitiate, Saint Juan is often described as having faced encounters with the devil. These encounters are seen as spiritual tests he faced in his journey of faith and dedication to God. It is believed that these confrontations with evil were a manifestation of the spiritual struggle many saints face in their pursuit of holiness and served to further strengthen his determination to follow God's ways. Additionally, Saint Juan is credited with the ability to perform miracles, thus demonstrating his spiritual power and proximity to the divine. Among the miracles attributed to him are the healing of the sick and the multiplication of food for the needy. These miracles are seen as signs of divine favor over his life and as testimonies of his holiness and devotion. Saint Juan's ability to perform miracles and confront evil is seen as a manifestation of God's power in his life and as confirmation of his mission as a servant of God and advocate for the needy. These supernatural experiences are an integral part of his story and contribute to the veneration and devotion that many have for him to this day. 1. Canonization and official recognition. The canonization of Saint Juan Macías is the official recognition by the Catholic Church of his holiness and divine intercession. Before being canonized, he underwent the process of beatification, which is the first step in the formal recognition of a person's holiness. The beatification of Saint Juan Macías took place in 1837, during the pontificate of Pope Gregory XVI. This process involved a rigorous investigation into his life, virtues, and the alleged miracles attributed to his intercession. The positive conclusion of this process resulted in the official declaration that he was among the blessed, that is, among those who enjoy the beatific vision of God and whose intercession can be requested by the faithful. Subsequently, in 1975, during the pontificate of Pope Paul VI, Saint Juan Macías was canonized, which means he was officially recognized as a saint of the Catholic Church. Canonization is a more rigorous process than beatification and requires additional evidence of his holiness, including confirmation of more miracles attributed to his intercession. The canonization of Saint Juan Macías was accompanied by a solemn celebration in which his holiness and contributions to the Catholic faith were publicly recognized. His canonization also included the inclusion of his name in the liturgical calendar of the Catholic Church, reserving September 16 for his memory and veneration by the faithful. And we've come to the end of another story full of curiosities. Don't forget to leave in the comments which saints' curiosities you would like to see here on the channel. And we'll see you in the next video.